don't be sad about what you can't eat, but learn to enjoy what you can eat. Because I'm telling you, there's stuff better than Takis and Doritos for you, and things that just taste better, kind of, pretty much. It'll feel better for sure. Also, be encouraged that you can eat differently than other people, because you're doing the right thing, pretty much. And also, you can still have lots of friends, even though you might not eat the same as them. If they're good friends, they're not going to leave you just because of what you eat.
Welcome to the Soaring Child podcast, where parents of children with ADHD learn tips and tricks to help their child soar at home, at school, and in life. We feature interviews with experts, medical professionals, and parents just like you who are learning how to reduce ADHD symptoms using food and other natural strategies. Because children with ADHD deserve to soar just like every other child. I'm Dana Kay, your host. Hello, parents. This is Dana Kay here with another edition of the Soaring Child podcast. One of the most common questions I hear from families is, how can I get my child, especially a teenager, on board with these changes? Now, if you've ever had that thought, which I can tell you most families have, then you definitely want to stay tuned. It's a question that, really resonates deeply with me, because I had this same thought all those years ago when my son was struggling with his ADHD and we started to embark on these natural changes. There's this delicate balance between guiding our children and respecting their growing independence. And especially convincing a teenager to alter their diet and lifestyle for their ADHD can feel like trying to, steer a ship against the current. Teen years are all about discovering yourself, pushing boundaries, even though we don't want them to push those boundaries. They're going to do it. Let's face it, enjoying food and activities that may not always be the healthiest is going to happen. And so the key I've found is in how we approach the conversation. It's not about sort of laying down rules, but really opening up this dialogue. It's about listening to their concerns, understanding their world, and then sort of gently introducing the idea of changes as a way to sort of feel better, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. It's a journey we propose to take together, not a path that we're going to force them down. And the success stories I've witnessed often come from the families who make these changes a shared experience. They explore these new foods together, they celebrate these small wins, and really support each other through the setbacks, because there will be setbacks. And it's about creating an environment where change is possible and positive, where especially a teenager feels supported and heard and definitely not coerced into something. I think this togetherness and understanding and mutual respect is what I believe can truly make a difference. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We're actually meeting a teenager who, with the support of his family, has taken some pretty big steps to managing his ADHD. And this isn't about sort of quick fixes or simple solutions. Instead, we're going to dive into his daily life, into the daily life of someone who's making deliberate choices to improve his own well-being. And through his eyes, we're going to see the ups, we're going to see the downs, we're going to see the commitment and the small victories that make a massive, massive difference. So let's get ready to dive into this conversation that I'm so excited about. We're going to look at the real experiences, the real adjustments, and I think the amazing personal growth story that comes from it. So now it's time to welcome Matthew to the Soaring Child. Hi, Matthew. How are you? I'm so excited that you're here.
Hi.
Oh, it's so exciting that you're here. And as I said, this is the first time that we've done this, and I am so grateful for you joining me and sharing your experience with our listeners. Now, why don't you just sort of start off by telling us sort of a little bit about yourself? What kind of things do you enjoy doing?
I'm 17 years old. I'm a junior in high school. I love to play sports, play piano and drums. I'm actually on the worship team for piano and at my church. I'm in a fine arts program and I sing, act, and dance. And I love hanging out with friends and family. It's one of my favorite
Wow,
things.
you sound like you are one busy boy. What sports do you play?
Oh gosh. Well, currently I just finished basketball, so I don't play any sports right now, but track's starting up next week.
Yes.
But I've played football, soccer, volleyball, basketball, track, hockey, probably other
Amazing.
things.
So you are a boy of many, many talents. Now, we're going to sort of just dive into the nitty-gritty here. Why did your family sort of decide to try this approach? Work with me. In my program. What were you struggling with? Tell us a little bit about your story.
I've just all my life I've had like really bad focus and really bad self-control, and I'd get irritated easily and have really bad anxiety. And so I had really bad ADHD symptoms basically.
Yeah.
And when my mom found this diet, like it pretty much changed my life and for the better. And so yeah.
Oh, wow. And do you remember what age you were when you got diagnosed with ADHD?
I was 15, I believe. It was 2 years ago.
Okay.
A little over 2 years, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they sound like very, very standard ADHD symptoms that you mentioned there. Now, when your mum sort of told you that she was going to change your diet, what did you think about that?
I mean, I was okay with it, but like, cause I trust her decisions and I was okay with it. It wasn't really a struggle to get me on.
Wow. I think every parent listening is probably thinking to themselves, "Oh, I wish that my child said that same thing." Did you have any doubts?
The only doubts were that because I was already skinny and because my ADHD medicine I was taking, which was a lot, just took my appetite so much, and I would get very I'd pick and get very anxious and just have I was like hyper focusing instead of focusing on my work.
Yeah.
So the only doubt I had was that I'd get skinnier because there'd be less for me to eat, but it's actually done the opposite. I've gained a lot of weight, and not just like gaining weight just by eating, but like eating healthy and knowing what to eat and how to mix it to make myself able to gain the weight.
Yeah, that's an interesting doubt, and and probably not one that younger kids would have, and all the side effects you mentioned from ADHD medications are common. It definitely happened to my son when he was on ADHD medications, and he wasn't able to eat, and he lost weight, and he was so skinny, and he got really, really anxious from it as well. So I can definitely relate to that feeling. So how long have you been eating this new way? Taking supplements and, working on your body and to help it thrive?
A little over 2 years, yeah.
Okay. So
But
not a short amount of time.
I was mistaken. I was diagnosed 4 years ago in 2019.
Yeah.
And then I started Thrive 2 years ago in 2022, the beginning of 2022.
Okay. And so do you feel like eating this way has been beneficial? Do you think it's working for you?
Yes, for sure. It's
Wow.
like I said before, it's changed my life. And
that's so wonderful. And
Very
to hear it. Sorry, say that again.
very thankful.
Oh, that's beautiful. Like, why don't you share with listeners sort of what are those successes that you have experienced?
Gosh, I've had so many successes. One would be decrease in my medicine. Like I said, it would make me like anxious, picking, skinny. decreasing my medicine just made me feel more myself. Because the medicine would like restrain me from being who I wanted to be. And so this diet has made me decrease the medicine, but still be able to focus and still be able to do everything like I was. And yeah, and I've gained weight, and I just feel healthier, and I've actually decreased my medicine by 90%.
Wow.
Which is crazy because I take so little, but I took so much that it's just crazy.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. And you know what, you've done those changes. You know, you've embraced them. And so like you should totally be so proud of yourself. I'm impressed. I'm just impressed talking with you today. And I can see just from your demeanor that you're happy, that you're sort of glowing. How do you feel inside?
I just feel like myself again. Like I feel like myself minus running around the house screaming and singing. And I mean, I still sing, but like, I'm not, I don't know the word, but
I know
crazy.
exactly. Yeah.
But I'm actually not done with my successes. There's still more.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah. I don't get low blood sugar anymore. So that's huge because when I was taking my medicine, I couldn't feel hunger because of appetite. So, it's time for lunch when I'd start getting like hangry, but I didn't know I was hungry.
Yes.
So I would just get really irritated and, couldn't focus and got very, jumpy and, anxious whenever I had low blood sugar. So this diet has like just
leveled that out.
Yeah, it's my taste buds have also changed during this diet. I like some of the things tasted weird at first, but then once I really got into it, they just tasted normal. Like I was eating this sauce that my dad made for steak the other night. I was like, wow, this really tastes like queso. And my whole family looked at me like I was crazy because I haven't tasted queso since before the diet. Yes. So they were like, this does not taste like queso. So I thought it tasted like cheese, but I haven't had cheese in forever. So.
Wow. Yeah, it's funny how that happens. And I see that a lot with kids, especially who are picky eaters. Their parents say to me, oh my gosh, they're never going to eat the things that I'm going to give them. And I said, don't worry. Once you start reducing the inflammation in the body and you heal that gut, their palate starts opening up. So Matthew, you've just, perfectly shown that it can definitely happen. Now, I know that there's probably challenges with this way of eating and doing things this way that's different than, the normal society. So how do you sort of explain this diet to your friends?
I usually start out by telling them that I avoid gluten, dairy, soy, inflammatory oils that reduce my ADHD symptoms, and that I like to be healthy and it makes me feel better. So that's basically what I tell them.
Great. And I know you mentioned a recent story on the bus that you wanted to share. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we're on the way to Ohio with my fine arts group and for a competition. And people around me were eating Doritos, candy, Oreos, like you name it, just like junk. And I was starting to get I started to want it, but I know I wouldn't have gotten it from them or anything because I know it's not good for me. But I started to want it. And so I went up to my mom who's in the front of the bus and I was like, I need something yummy now because I just was craving it, I guess. And so she opens up the lunchbox and the first thing I see was this huge bag of vegetables. And I knew that second that that's what I wanted. So I just grabbed the vegetables and sat down there and just like snacked on them for probably like 30 minutes.
That is amazing. And like that you were like, I just need something really yummy. And you vegetables, like seriously, that is like super, super impressive. And I'm sure they were very, very tasty, weren't they?
They were amazing. I love peppers. Yeah.
Yes, I like peppers as well. I actually just got my groceries and I bought 3 red peppers because I do.
Red's my favorite color too. Of peppers.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I want to tell you a bit of I want to enlighten you and enlighten the listeners a little bit. In Australia, we don't call them peppers, we call them capsicum. So when I first came here and I'd go into, a sandwich shop, I would say, can I please have capsicum? And they'd look at me, totally strange. So there's a little bit of trivia for you. Now, there you go. And you can start calling it capsicum to your friends and they'll look at you and go, what are you talking about? Now, how do your friends respond to your diet being different from theirs?
They definitely like respect me for it. They even say that like at school, especially. My diet has been a positive influence on many people. In fact, my teachers even will come up with their meals and be like, look what I'm eating. I'm eating all these vegetables. And they'll ask me what I'm eating. And I'll tell them what's carbs, what's fats, what's protein, the different vegetables I have. In fact, I'm known as the pepper boy at my school because every day I bring peppers. There's not a day that I miss that I don't bring peppers unless we like ran out because I eat too many. But every day at school. And last year when we were allowed to eat school and snacks in the classroom, which we're not allowed this year, there'd be a pepper time and people would start smelling peppers and know that it's me and my cubby eating my peppers. So
that's
everyone knows that I have a diet and no one judges me for it. In fact, I probably get more compliments than I do weird looks or anything.
Oh, that's amazing. And just such a testament to you and also to, the community around you. Look, you mentioned the bus story. What do you sort of do in other social activities where food is available and it's not good for you? Because I know, again, another one of those challenges that kids and parents face is those social activities. I can tell you my younger son is doing baseball right now, and the snacks that are provided at the end of the baseball they're terrible.
It's like giving kids like sugar right after a game is like, And then there's
promoting healthiness.
After football practices, some of my teammates will go to the gas station that's right next to the field and just buy slushies, and it's like not good.
No, not good. Yeah. So what do you do?
I usually will plan ahead and pack something that I can eat if I'm in that circumstance. And if I don't pack anything, or if it's a last minute, hey, want to go get ice cream, I usually will just enjoy my friends and not enjoy ice cream because I know I can't eat it. And if I get home and want something yummy, I can just eat some vegetables.
But you can also eat some dairy-free ice cream or better for you ice cream at home. I want to share with listeners. It's not just about eating vegetables, but I mean, Matthew, seriously,
I like vegetables as much as I like sugar, so.
which is so impressive, so impressive. What motivates you to sort of stick to this way of eating and living?
I just like the way it makes me feel. And so, wait, what was the question?
That's okay. What motivates you to sort of stick with this way of eating and living?
Yeah. Okay. I like the way it makes me feel. And if I'm not on my diet, I didn't like the way that it could like affect the atmosphere by my bad attitude or irritability. And also, I've worked so hard on my diet that it's like, why would I stop?
Yeah.
So
I know. And I feel that way as well. But it's amazing that you can feel that inside your body. And I think for families that are listening to this episode, when your child can actually feel those changes and really relate to the positive changes with those changes in the diet or bringing in supplements or doing these other things, that's when they start to own it. Now, you've shared some challenges. I want to know, Matthew, what's been the biggest struggle for you?
Probably making sure I have food to eat before I go anywhere, because like people will say you don't have to bring any food because it'll be pizza.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard for me to be motivated to want to make myself food when everyone else is going there with nothing and just themselves and without a lunchbox on them at all times. But so that's kind of a struggle. But I have a community that accepts me and wouldn't make fun of it. So
yeah, which is so amazing that you have that. And, hats off to them as well that, they've embraced it, and you've got to find your community, for everything. So I think that's wonderful. Between you and me, do you ever struggle with temptation to eat something that you shouldn't?
Yeah, sometimes. Not as much as I used to, but it's just last night, I was at a small group thing with families for church, and two of my friends were eating cookies, and those cookies looked good. And I had a little miniature pizza that was okay for me to eat. And I just wanted a cookie really bad, but I didn't have it, of course. So I came home and put some maple syrup and peanut butter after asking my mom, of course. So yeah, that was pretty good.
So how do you, what are those practical ways that you handle that temptation to eat something that you shouldn't eat?
I remember that I'll regret it if I do eat it, because that's usually what will happen is I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah. That makes sense. And I think that again, that comes with knowing how these changes make you feel inside your body. And it sounds like spot on that if you eat that, then you're not going to like the way that you feel. You touched briefly earlier that you were struggling with your weight, especially being on the medication, and that you were always underweight, but now you're a healthy weight. What do you do to make sure that you maintain that healthy weight when you're eating this way?
I don't like to skip meals. Number one, it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And physically, and sometimes makes me feel bad that I didn't eat. And it also, I always make sure that I'm having carbs, proteins, and fats to make sure that I'm getting the right stuff to gain the weight. So yeah,
great. And
for example, when I make my protein drinks at night, it's just protein and coconut milk or almond milk.
Which is fat.
So I take a banana and then dip it in peanut butter and eat banana and peanut butter with my protein drink. So I have carbs, which is the banana, fat, which is the peanut butter, and then protein, which is obviously the protein drink.
Amazing. Do you want to be a nutritionist when you grow up?
I've thought about
it. What do you want to be when you grow up? Well, you're already grown up, but what do you want to do when you go to, if you're going to, after you finish school?
Okay, so in the future, I want to be a event coordinator / someone that produces the events at a nursing home, assisted living home. I can play ukulele too. And so when I was in second grade, I would go over to an assisted living and play ukulele with them with one of our family friends. And something I was super passionate about then. And then my grandma with Alzheimer's came to live with us for 6 years. And so I already had the experience of entertaining older folks at assisted living facilities. So I got my grandma, got even more experience, and she basically became my little sister because as her brain declined, I got older and her brain declined. So she basically got younger. So I'd play for her, play with her. She was basically my little sister. So I have all that experience, and it's something I'm super passionate about. So
I can feel that passion, and that is just amazing. It actually gives me chills when you mention that. That sounds fantastic. So as we wrap up today, do you have any other tips for other children that are making these changes to their diet and lifestyle?
Yeah. One of the things I'd say is don't be sad about what you can't eat, but learn to enjoy what you can eat. Because I'm telling you, there's stuff better than Takis and Doritos for you, and things that just taste better, kind of, pretty much. It'll feel better for sure. Also be encouraged that you can eat differently than other people, because you're doing the right thing pretty much. And also you can still have lots of friends, even though you might not eat the same as them. If they're good friends, they're not going to leave you just because of what you eat.
100%, for sure. And what advice would you give someone just starting out on this journey, Matthew?
Definitely to try new foods and just take the time to adjust, even though it might take a while. It's definitely worth it. 100%. And also your taste buds change. So, also trust that the diet will make you the person that you want to be, for sure, because it made me the person I want to be. It's changed my life, like I said multiple times. And also partner with your parents and trust them 100%. And it's a team effort. So just keep going.
Oh my gosh, Matthew, what amazing words of advice that you just shared there. This has been such a wonderful episode. I am so grateful. You have no idea how grateful I am that you wanted to do this and you wanted to share your personal experience. I just want to thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, listeners. Wow, you heard it firsthand. We heard a story of an amazing teenager's personal account that was open, that was honest, sharing his efforts, his real challenges, but also his amazing progress. It's really a reminder to all of us, especially to parents and kids facing similar situations, that making changes and sticking to them can lead to amazing outcomes. Today's story shared insights to making these adjustments, dealing with the social situations, and really finding that personal motivation. To our listeners, let this be a reminder that you're not alone in your experiences. We're here as a community to share, to support, and really learn from each other. Now, if you found value in today's episode, please like it, please share it. Just share this amazing teenager's story. Share it with others who might benefit. Your support helps us reach more and more families and really make a bigger impact. Matthew, I want to thank you once again for joining me today and sharing your story. Listeners, thank you for tuning into this week's episode of The Soaring Child. I'm Dana Kate, your ADHD health practitioner. Keep on thriving. Thank you for listening to the Soaring Child podcast today. To learn more about how to help your child with ADHD soar using natural strategies, visit our website at adhdthriveinstitute.com and follow us on social media at ADHD Thrive Institute.